Hi, y'all. I just thought I would jump on and do a quick video about a situation that I'm encountering again and again when I listen to some um, lives or videos from folks in the disclosure community and the truther community. And when I keep hearing that just kind of puts a craw on my side, if that's the right phrase, is they talk about the jab. They talk about the vaccinations from, for the most recent ones that many of us had. And they refer to them as the jab, or they do this. And what I'm interpreting is me being one who, when the vaccinations started rolling out, I was completely against them because I knew that they were filled with chemicals and I had no idea what the chemicals were. But as the months went on, first of all, I have an aged mother. I have grandchildren, daughters, and community. In my heart, I meditated on it for a while. Excuse me. And I realized that I didn't take, because I had the first two as they kind of spread those first two out. And I sat and meditated with it for a long time because I really didn't want to. I didn't believe in them. But it frightened my mother that I hadn't had the vaccination. Kind of freaked out my brother. Not because they were worried that I would get sick and pass it on to them, but they were worried for me. At that time, we were heavily influenced by society, by the media, by the medical profession, by our communities, and by our jobs, just everything. There was such a huge push. It was the herd mentality. If you don't get the vaccination, you'll kill us all. That really bothered me because I knew it wasn't true. And one time in my life that I went against my intuition, I went and had the vaccinations. Again, I did it with love for my family. I talked to my body through the right after the first shot. I told my body it could handle it. I talked to the cells in my body. I told them they could flush out the vaccine as easily as flushing water through my system. But at that time, I believed the narrative, the lie, as I know it is now, complete lie, that we needed a card to travel with, to go back to work. It was just mass confusion. And I was in the thick of it. That virus and the shutdown really did a number on me. I went into a really dark place, as I've said in another video, because I think it reminded me of a past life where I was in charge of my community, maybe as an elder, as its chief. And I allowed a group of people into the tribe, into my community, and there were a great deal of deaths as my trust was abused. Most likely it was a smallpox event. And so it did a big number on me. I went into a really dark place. I was quite scared. And I wasn't scared for me. As I've said before, I was scared for my grandchildren and my daughters and my mother and my brother and sister. But as the months wore on, the years wore on, and I happened to get COVID, and I don't think I've ever been that sick in my life. It's about a year after my vaccinations. Again, it wasn't anything with my lungs. It was just my whole body just ached, and it lasted a couple weeks. Just the uncomfortableness. But I jumped on tonight because I keep hearing how those that receive the vaccinations won't ascend. We're filled with toxins and poisons and minerals, and our blood is tainted. And if I was young enough to have children, my children are going to be born with black eyes, the pupils, most likely demons. And these are comments from well-respected folks in the community who are leading the drive of ascension. And just a handful, not all of them. And I'm not going to drop names because that's not what I'm all about. But if you've ever watched or part of the chat, part of these lives, and a lot of the people on the chat and those that are hosting the videos are talking about the jab, and that if you had the jab, most likely you're in trouble. I don't know if you've had just the first round and then you went ahead and had booster after booster. That's probably getting into a territory that's getting a little riskier. However, I'm not an expert. I do know there have been a great deal of deaths as a result of the vaccines. But what I'd like to say to the community members who are judging us harshly and putting themselves up on these high pedestals, they're so proud that they didn't take the vaccination. And I'm happy for them because they listened to their intuition, which I did not. And I usually do, but I don't regret it. Can't regret anything. I'm very healthy. I'm very connected with my higher self, my master self. The round of vaccinations I took, I think that it was eliminated because of the way I talked with my body. And I just want those people to know that if you didn't have the vaccination, good job. But don't judge those who did, because it's not your place to tell me that myself and my daughters and my friends, we're going to have problems. We're not going to be able to walk into the next dimension. We're not going to be able to ascend. Most likely we're going to die. All of these messages that are given in a very irresponsible way. I don't believe it for a moment. And many of you probably hear it and don't believe it either. But I think it's just as bad as the medical profession and the community judging those who did not take the vaccination. I think it's just as bad for those who did not have the vaccination to judge those who chose to have it. Some of the people in the world were forced to take it. Some were given it without their knowing. So get off your high horse and just let bygones be bygones. We're all in this together. Quit talking about the jab and making this sign. It just really bugs me. Who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do? You were in that lane before as one who chose not to take the vaccination. And now you're doing the same thing. So it's a little hypocritical if you ask me. We're all doing this together and doing the best that we can. That's my message for tonight. Just had to get that off my chest. Please like this video if you got anything out of it. Subscribe to my channel. Share it if you feel so inclined. Add some comments. How do you feel about that narrative about the jab, the vaccinations? Or like I said before, I'll repeat myself. We're doing the best that we can. So with that, I bid you good night. Play well together. Smile at those that you pass. Don't forget to ring the bell for the children. Namaste.